All right, so how does the top of the table look after this week's match against Liverpool?
So fun fact, the top 4 teams in the table, Arsenal, City, Villa, Liverpool, all drew this week. So it looks exactly the same. Well, not exactly. Everyone's got one more point than they did before. But Arsenal maintains a 6-point edge over City and Villa. Even with City on goal difference at plus 26, we would trail them in a tiebreaker as they have 45 goals to our 40. But yeah, everything's the same. We didn't mention this with Liverpool, and I'm curious your thoughts. I know there's a little... Are you feeling the disappointment of we had a chance to go 8 points clear coming into this, and maybe that's part of our feeling about Liverpool as well?
Yeah, a little bit. I really thought that last corner kick that we just remembered to talk about in the Madueke Player of the Week segment, but I really thought that was going to be it. I thought that was going to go in and we'd get those 2 extra points, and it didn't materialize. But yeah, that was disappointing. But
yeah, but I guess I'd say again, I mean, Liverpool remains 14 points behind us. I'm not worried about Liverpool at all. I've expressed my thoughts on City and Villa as far as the back half of the season. I think we're still largely in fine shape. You know, we've ground out results. We're in the same place we were when the week started. We'll have another game this coming weekend in the league. Another good opportunity to put some points on the board. And as long as we just keep taking care of our own business, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, one thing that was really interesting to me, we did a video short last week talking about this year compared to like match week 20 last year. Mm-hmm. And I was transcribing the table as I do to put it in a format that makes sense for the shorts. And it struck me, though, in really giving credence to what you've said, where Villa isn't really a threat at the top of the table. But you look at the goal difference. So as you mentioned, we're tied with Manchester City, 26 goal difference, plus 26 for both of us. It's all single digits after that until Chelsea has 10. But like, it's a huge, huge difference. You don't see double digits again until Nottingham Forest with minus 13.
Yeah. and that's partly why goal difference sort of works in a lot of ways as a measure of quality. Again, and against, Arsenal and City both have a couple games where they really run up the score on some teams, but part of that is their ability to do so and speaks to the consistency. Again, I think Villa's just relatively thin. I just don't know that they'll be able to maintain maintain 3 fronts, because they are, of course, in a European competition. They're in the Europa League. They're also obviously still alive in the FA Cup. Mm-hmm. Plus the league. I just don't know that they'll be able to keep the same pace. And I think the goal difference sort of reflects that. We'll kind of see how it plays out long term. But a reminder that we are just over halfway through. There are still, there's still 17 games left to be played in the league. Sure. So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so that's covering things in the league. How does the FA Cup look after all but one of this week's matches are concluded?
I should say 2. There is another one that was pushed. Salford City and Swindon Town will play on January 20th for some reason. I'm sure there's a story behind it, but I don't know what it is. It really interesting. We talked about Palace being eliminated by Macclesfield, which is obviously a big surprise. Wolves scored 6 goals to beat Shrewsbury Town. Who's in League 2, so
Fun fact: when I was first watching the Macclesfield match, I could have sworn that they were playing against Wolves. But yeah.
What other results around? Manchester City put 10 goals past League 1 Exeter City, so that's fun. Yeah. What else? Villa advanced. We mentioned Villa still being alive in the FA Cup. They advanced at the expense of Spurs, so that's fun. What else we got? The game that followed ours, the last game of the day here, Manchester United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. The Seagulls knock United out in Old Trafford. And really what looks like the banger of the round. So Newcastle and Bournemouth. Newcastle advanced on penalties. This game was 2-1 Bournemouth. Anthony Gordon notched a penalty in the 95th minute. They go to extra time. Harvey Barnes scores in the 118th minute, so just before the end. And then Tavernier scores in stoppage time to make it 3-3. They then
boy.
proceed to go to 9 rounds of penalties before Newcastle finally wins 7-6. So bonkers game there.
Wow.
Sounds like that one was a lot of fun. And then, by the way, since we're looking ahead, the draw for the next round of the FA Cup will be tomorrow, approximately 6:30 in the UK, 6:30 p.m. in the UK. It'll be done right before the Liverpool-Barnsley game at Anfield, which for those of you here in the States, that is 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central about. So if you're curious,
be Monday or today, as you are no earlier than listening to this. Yes,
on Monday. So if it hasn't happened yet as you watch this, that's when it'll happen. Or you could just check the club's website. They'll have it by 1:35 or whenever, shortly after it happens.